Well, hello, this is Kimberly Brock, and for over 20 years, I've been running my own businesses that have not only been profitable, but personally fulfilling to me. So now I'm on a mission to help other new business owners, just like you, make money doing what you love too. Now we're going to have some fun, so let's get started.
Well, hello, this is Kimberly. It's episode 291, and I am so glad that you are here today because you are in for a massive treat. I have the one and only Amanda Richardson with Where in the Park on the show today. I'm so excited to share her with you. She has been literally a star student. I think she's been in every single one of my programs, including coaching and everything. It's been awesome. I've gotten to know her very well. I've watched all of her progress, and I was like, Amanda, you have to be on the show. I have to share you with the world. So in case y'all haven't heard of Where in the Park, they make seek and find games for theme parks. They're self-paced games that you do to appreciate the parks more and run around. And it's not just about the rides and the shows and the churros. Y'all, at theme parks like Disney and other ones, you can be learning more about the history and just cool things about the park that you may never have noticed. And that's what they offer. It's really neat. Her whole story is shared today, and you hear how it started in one way and then it evolved to where it is today. And you get to hear how she has just totally gained confidence in herself and her business because she has done the groundwork. Now, as I said, she's been in all my programs. She's in Grow Getters. And she talks about how, she is honed in on her messaging and how she's showing up consistently and what she's saying and all that good stuff. And I am just so excited for her that she actually did the work inside the program and it's paying off big time. So you're going to hear all of that in here today. Listen all the way through. Do not miss anything. Do not miss a minute. It's power packed all the way to the end. She's giving you advice that you can't live without, that you need to hear, and it's going to motivate you and excite you for your business, whether you have a product business or service business. Now, real quick, if you're new here, welcome. I'm so glad you found this podcast. You found this on a great day. You're going to learn so much from Amanda today, and that's why I had her on the show. But in the meantime, too, make sure you get all your free goodies if you're new here. Scroll down in the show notes. I've got a 16-step checklist if you're starting your business. I have a free workshop if you're trying to get your business off the ground and growing, and you're like, how do I do this? And also, if you're starting a podcast, I have resources for you. So y'all, check everything out below. Get your hands on it. Also below is all the information about Amanda and Where in the Park. And you can click on those, subscribe to her emails, get on the list. You're going to want to because it's just such a cool business and you don't want to miss out on anything that she's sharing. So if you've been listening a while, thank you so much to all my loyal listeners, all my Grow Getters, those of you in Passion to Podcast, and just all of you. I'm so thankful for you. And you may know Amanda because, as I said, she's been in all my programs. So you've probably met her if you've been in one, especially in Grow Getters. You know who she is. So she's on all the calls. She's helping other people. She's doing all the stuff. That's why I had to have her on this show. She is such a shining example of what it looks like when you actually have a dream, you pursue it, and you do the work. You work really hard to become a really smart and strategic business owner and do things right. And that's where Amanda is today. She's got the confidence. She's got the skills. She's got a great business, and it's so exciting. So I'm so honored to have you on the show, Amanda. I'm so glad you went on here, and I'm so excited to share Amanda with all of you. So y'all have a listen, and I can't wait. Okay, enjoy. Well, Amanda, I'm so glad you are here today. This is an awesome day. I cannot tell you how much I have enjoyed getting to know you and just seeing your growth. And I'm just so excited and honored to share you with the world.
Thank you so much. I am so excited to be here. I mean, anytime we get to chat is a good day for me. So I am honored to be back on the show.
Yes, it's awesome. And what I think is really cool is that you are so relatable. Your story is just like, everyone's business is different, but your story of how your business evolves is real. And I think this is so good for all the new business owners. And even if you're a veteran business owner, to hear how a business evolves, things you go through that are hard, that are good, the lessons you learn. And Amanda is just a shining example of perseverance and Just keeping focused on how can we do things right? What should be our strategy? What's our strategy right now? What do we do? And I think you're going to get to hear everything. I want her to share her whole story. So we're going to go through the timeline of her business because this will hit home for you. All of this will hit home, how she started and what's happened. And I'm just so excited, Amanda, to get to for you to share the story with everyone.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's going to be awesome. So, first of all, we have to know, tell us about your passion for theme parks. We want to hear about that
Oh,
first and foremost.
okay. So our passion for theme parks has started many, many years ago, way before we're in the park. I say we, my husband, Kevin, and my mom, Kim, we love theme parks. We always have. And, Disneyland is right in our backyard, not too far from us. And, so that's actually how my husband and I met was at Disneyland.
Whoop,
Um,
whoop.
whoop, whoop. And so, my mom and I, we lived pretty close to the parks, and that was our night, our mommy daughter date night every
Aw.
Friday night after work. We would just go over there, back when you can just show up at any time,
Mm.
and we would go have dinner, maybe ride a couple rides, and then head home. So the parks have always had a really special meaning for us, and so we joined a Facebook group. This was back in 2013, maybe a little bit before that. We joined a Facebook group called Mouse for Life. It is still in existence. There's still
Mm.
thousands of members, but the organizer would put together scavenger hunts that would be very detail oriented and be black and white pictures all across the Disneyland resort, any Disney property, hotel, parking structure, downtown Disney, etc. And you had 100 pictures, little over 100 pictures, black and white, didn't know which way was up, and you had 8 hours. Good luck. See
Oh
how
my
many
gosh.
you can find.
Okay.
And so we were part of the winning team. 8 or 6 out of the 8 years that they did it, we were part of the winning team 6 out of the 8 times and 5 years in a row. We were 5-time reigning champs.
What? You and your
Um
husband or you and your mom? You and your husband.
Yeah, my husband and I, we were part of the team every year. My
Okay.
mom had to sit out 1 year. But other than that, it was us and then a friend of ours. Yeah, had to have a
Okay.
minimum of 4 people.
Okay, got it.
And, so to study, we would go to the parks every chance that we could and take pictures of details that we thought might be interesting, and be part of the scavenger hunt. And then we would have a little pop quiz. Where in the park is this? Where in the park is this? And then COVID hit and we couldn't get together the same way. The reservation system changed. And so we had that fire within us of we love finding the details and we love that I know that detail is there and nobody else knows it's there, you know?
Mhm.
And having that deeper appreciation for the parks. And now how do we celebrate that? How do we provide that same fire to other
Mm.
people
Mm.
on their own schedule?
Love it.
And so we had thousands of images just sitting in our computer hard drives, and we decided let's do something similar and having a game that anybody could take to the park at any time and find the details in the theming of the parks.
Mm.
So we first started Where in the Park in late 2021, and we were creating things that were based off of the details. So we had like coasters, we had magnets, we had all kinds of things that would then come with a card for you to go take that card to the park and find that detail.
Okay.
The Some of those things kind of took off, but in reality, people were providing the feedback of, okay, that's great, but I just like the game. I don't need a
Mm.
coaster of something that I don't know where it is, you
Okay.
know? And so we're like, okay, well, the game's a lot easier to make than the coasters. So that works. But also we can expand this game to be whatever it is that we want for it to be. We can make it
Mhm.
as challenging or as simple as we want. And so that idea really took off from listening to our customers and figuring out who our ideal customers were. They weren't just Disney enthusiasts, but they were like actual Disney people who wanted to find out more about the history of the parks and find something
Mm,
that they hadn't experienced before, not just a keepsake thing that they could have at their house.
right. Right.
Um, so it was fine tuning who our niche really were and trying to put ourselves into their shoes, and what would be fun for us and what would be fun for them. So, um, our games have evolved over time, again, based off of feedback that we've received from customers. So,
Mhm.
the gameplay has changed. Each pack has a deck of cards. Each card has a detail that is found in the theming of the park. And then we have hints, answers, and the land. Previously, it was available with a scratch off sticker, and now it's with a QR code. We've changed the 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 context of the play
Mhm.
to be more dynamic. We can add things
Mm.
or edit things at
Oh,
any
yeah,
time.
that's smart with the QR codes. That's really
Yeah,
smart. Yeah.
yeah. So we now have 18 theme parks under our belts
Okay.
and over 60 SKUs, because we have bundles and we have multiple game packs per park. And it has been so much fun to not only put these games together for people, but to receive that feedback. I keep going back to the feedback because it warms
Mhm.
my heart
Mhm.
so
Mhm.
much
Mhm.
when we receive the feedback of you've changed my theme park experience forever in the best of ways. I
Oh.
now go to the parks looking for these images, and when I
Oh.
find that last image that has been, like, bugging me forever, I know where it is, I know where it is, and I finally found it, I feel like I just ran a marathon.
Oh,
Like, I have
that's
that just
so cool.
elated feeling, and it just warms my heart so much that, like, we made that happen,
Mhm.
you know?
You
Like,
brought them
our
that joy.
seemingly silly little game
Yes.
changed the park experience for them forever, and that's
Yes.
such a lasting feeling for all of us. It's
It's so great. I love hearing it. So just to explain for anyone who's never heard of this, they don't really understand what you're talking about the
Mhm,
game.
mhm.
You sell cards. Okay, they
Yes.
get like a card pack for if that is specific to a certain theme park, so like Disneyland, California or Disney World or any of the you said 16 parks, 18 parks?
18 parks.
18 parks. Okay, so 18 parks that you've done this for. And they have clues to something you can find. So they're a seek and find game. And you're not going to pick up anything or collect anything. You're going, and then what do you do when you find it? Do you take a picture? What do you do?
Yeah, so, you can do a couple of things. You can take a picture, and we always encourage that tag us on Instagram or Facebook at We're in the Park. Or you can we always love when, customers will send us a picture of a different detail, like somewhere
Mhm,
nearby or something like that, and try
mhm,
and stump us. That's always fun. But it's just the satisfaction of finding that image. So, in reality, you don't need to do anything once you've found the image, but it's just finding out more about it, like, why
mhm,
is that there? And that curiosity will build,
mm, mhm,
um, and you can make the game as laid back or as competitive as you would like. You can
mhm.
stop and start whenever you'd like. You can play solo, date nights, with your family, younger kids, older kids, reunions, whatever you wanna do. We even have some that will buy 2 of the same pack and then split off into different groups and make it a competitive,
Yes, I could
one-to-one
see
match.
that. Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
so, you can choose to reveal the hints and answers if you would like. Some we know have, set a timer. There's no time limit that we instill, but some have said, "Okay, if I can't find this in 15 minutes, I'm gonna reveal the land. If I can't find it within 5 minutes of that, I'm gonna, reveal the hint." And then,
Yes,
so it's just however you decide to play, which is
yes.
what we love about the game, that it's not one size fits all.
Right.
You can really customize it however you'd like and even play over months or years if you wanted to.
Yes, yes, it's
Oh.
so cool. So, I just have to ask too, I know you had mentioned in the beginning that you and your husband would be like, "Oh, let's find where in the park this is." How exactly did you have that moment, or did you have a moment when you were naming the business? So for anyone out there that is trying to figure out a name, because this can be really hard for some people, other people, it just comes right to them. What was your story about when you named it?
Yeah. So I think it was because we were constantly saying it. "Where in the
Y'all
park
were
is
just saying it
this?"
naturally. Oh, you would say,
Yeah.
"Where in the park is that?" Like, where
Yeah.
in like, it's
Yeah.
the
Like,
best name. And so
it
y'all would
is.
say it. It is the best
Yeah,
name.
it's fantastic, and so we always ask, "Where in the park do you think this image is?" We try and say that as much as possible, um, and I think in the beginning, we were like, "Okay, we want it to be something that they're naturally going to say, um, and there's no confusion, like, "Where in the park?" You are finding things in the park, right?
Mhm,
So, as we were saying our messaging and our sales pitch, if you will,
mhm.
we say, each pack has a deck of cards. Each card has an image found in the theming of the park. The question is, where in the park? So it's
Yes.
the double meaning. It's not only a standalone
Yes.
question, but it's also the name of the game.
Right.
And our logo is the where, in the, and park are three separate areas within the Disneyland Resort. So the fonts are actually where, if you went to the park right now, it would be that same font.
Oh, okay. I
So
didn't even realize that. And I'm
yeah,
now looking at your
it's very
website at the thing.
subtle.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
park people, park goers, and enthusiasts, I love that word, enthusiasts. The enthusiasts would know this. People that are obsessed with Disney would probably know this kind of stuff. But I think that's what's so cool is, everyone like you and I have joked before. Like we love the parks for the rides and the churros. Okay. So
Yeah,
let's
of
not
course.
forget about the churros.
No.
But there is so much more to be had, so much more to learn, the history, and if you really enjoy the parks, there is more to do than just the rides and the food. And I think that's what's cool that you and Kevin and your mom, Kim, have really done is just help people see, "Oh my gosh, there's so much more to it." And even just like fonts being different and history of things and signs and all that, there is just so much to nerd out on, and I love it, and I think it's so cool that there's been stuff. I mean, it's just like in life, there's things that are before us that we miss. And you didn't even realize that you could be at a park for 4 days and you may be like, ridden every ride, but there's so much more to be seen. So y'all had that moment. I'm just trying to go back again because I want to take everybody from that moment when y'all are like, okay, we should actually start our own business doing this. Like what happened? And you said this is going to be the name and this is how we're starting. I know it was after COVID. So was there a moment or like what happened?
Yeah. We I think it was because we had so many pictures from the games that we were playing before COVID.
Yes, okay, so you
Um,
had thousands of pictures.
thousands of pictures. And it was like, okay, well, one, what do we do with all these pictures? There's such a great archive of the park as it stands today, because we all know theme parks change
Mhm.
every single day.
Yeah,
And so it's really fun to go back and look at, the old pictures and stuff.
right.
But so you're really capturing a moment in theme park time, like in theme park history. And so how do we honor that? And so that's why we created the different, I call them like keepsakes because I'm not really sure how else to describe them. Like the coasters, we made necklaces, we made earrings of things that you can find. The images had the things of things you can find at the theme parks. But again, if people don't know where those things are, yes, they recognized it as something at a theme park. But when asked, well, do you know where in the park you can find this? They're like, I don't know. So we had that shift of, we need to turn this into a full-fledged game and make that
Okay,
the focus,
that's what it is. Not the
um,
merchandise. So you
not
were
the
trying to
merchandise.
do merchandise that had
Mhm.
the cool, the symbols and things from the park, I don't even know what to
Right.
call them, and
Yeah.
people c y'all knew what they were, but not everyone knew the history or what was behind that, the meaning behind it. They just thought it was cool because they're a Disney enthusiast or a park
Yeah.
goer, and y'all realized, "Oh my gosh," and from the feedback in the very beginning, maybe it's not the stuff that matters, it's that this is actually really fun to go and seek and find it and scope it out and look at it and learn more about it. So So you kind of evolved. And then is this about where you and I met? I'm trying to remember. Were y'all starting
Yeah.
your business and like, were you trying to get it online? And if you did, how did you first bring it online? Did you build your own website? What did you do?
Yeah. So we started off on Etsy.
Okay, which is great for any of you
Yeah.
product sellers. It's a good way to
Oh,
start.
Etsy is a fantastic way to start, um, because you're using their platform to bring in more people. It's a great spot to work on your wording, work on your keywords, and your messaging, and see what really jives with people. They have the whole message platform and everything. So you can see what's working and what's not and really fine tune without having to be locked into a website.
Yes. So
And
awesome. Yep.
yeah, and it's really low cost. It's like 20 cents per listing, and then that auto renews every 3 months or so. Um, and then there's a fee if it sells to quote unquote restock. But all in all, like, if your margins are such, like, it is pennies, literal pennies to have a listing up on Etsy, so it's a great way to start. We still have our Etsy, shop, and as of this recording, we are 1 sale shy of 600 sales.
Woo!
So,
That's
we're
awesome.
super
That's
excited.
great.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's wonderful. So you still have your
Yeah.
Etsy shop. So
Yeah.
this was in what, 2021 when you
Mhm.
started on Etsy? And then were you also building your own website kind of in the background or no? Like what was y'all's plan with that?
Yeah, so we started a website once we started getting serious about, being in front of people at live events.
Okay.
Um, so
Okay.
we had the Square, terminal to process credit cards and
Yes.
stuff,
Yes.
and so we decided, "Okay, well, now is the time to evolve and have our own website also." So I
Okay.
love having, two modes of sales. So you have Etsy and you have your own
Yes.
website.
Yes.
And then, from Etsy, we were using Aweber to collect the emails and have it, our email system going, which I remember very vividly when I first started, with you in your programs. I was very adamant of like, I don't want email. I don't want email. And
You
you're like,
don't want to
just
deal with it.
collect the email.
Yeah, just at least collect them. You don't ever have to
Yes.
send one right now, but there will be a time. And
Yeah.
so this is a note to everyone listening. No matter how you start, if you start on Etsy, if you start doing live events, if you start building your own website, you will need to be sending people emails. It's still the best way to get in touch with people. I know people love social media and everything like that. You just have to know that email is still existent. People still check their email. You need to still be doing it. It's not going to get 100% views, but it may get 50%, 40%, 30%, even 20% is way better than what social media is getting you. So, anyways, just
Yeah.
wanted to note that and also point out what Amanda did. So, they started with Etsy. They said, okay, we're getting more serious. We're doing live events. Let's start building our own website so we have our own real estate on our own domain name, whereinthepark.com. And we have that. So I think that's super smart because Etsy, number one, is super simple to get started. You can get your feet wet. And it's just good to like learn how to start running a business that way. And then you can be saying, okay, am I actually serious about this? Do I want to keep doing this? And if so, you do want your own real estate and you're going to want to probably either have both like Amanda has done or shift over. But Etsy, it's its own search engine. So it's its own little ecosystem and it's so awesome for looking for gifts. I don't know if everyone who listens here shops on Etsy, but it's amazing. So anyways, I always recommend people starting that way to get their feet wet in this. So Amanda, check plus
Mhm.
plus on all that. Y'all did great. And you start building your website. And then as you said, you're using the little Square terminal. It's the little plug-in thing so that you can plug it into your phone and take credit cards. Okay. So you're doing that and you're
Yeah.
working on everything. And we meet and maybe you were in Grow Getters at that time. And so
Mhm.
then what's happening?
Yeah. So, I also just want to add real quick. So Etsy is, if you're just starting off on Etsy, it's a great way to make sure that all of your systems are in alignment. So how are you
Mm,
processing shipping? How are you taking
mm,
orders? Does your credit
yeah.
card systems work? Like all of those things and building your stuff on the back end. How are you organizing orders? How are you connecting with people after they've placed the order? Are you inviting them to next steps? All the things that we talk about in Grow Getters and the move method, you can do on Etsy. And so I
Yes.
highly recommend if you are just starting out to start on Etsy. Again, low cost to entry and making sure all of your systems are in place. So you can really fine tune everything before you invest in getting your own domain name and building your own website and doing all that tech stuff. You already have everything mapped out on the back end. So just
Love
wanted to
that.
so glad that we did it that way. Um,
Yes. And
so
one more, sorry, not to
yeah, yeah.
interrupt. Piggybacking on what you just said. For anyone that's starting on Etsy and you have dreams of having your own website, go ahead and reserve your domain name. They're
Mhm.
usually like $15 a year. So get whereinthepark.com or whatever you're getting. And even if you don't, or you're not using it at the moment, have it because there will be a day you probably will need it. Okay. So,
Yes.
so
Yeah,
y'all
and
are
we
at
did
that
that.
point. Yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
we did that on everything. So as soon as like Blue Sky came out as a thing, the social media platform, we instantly went in and claimed we're in the park. Are we on that platform right now? No, but we wanted to claim it so that way nobody else could get it.
I
So
never
same
even
thing with your
heard
business.
of Blue Sky. What is Blue Sky?
It's another
I don't know
social
what this is.
media platform.
What?
Yeah.
What do you do on it? Is it pictures with text under it and videos? Is it the same thing?
It pretty much. It's very similar to Threads,
Oh,
and like
okay.
a Twitter kind of a thing. It's just another branch. It's like
Right.
Lemonade and all of the things. So it's like
I never even
we
heard of
just
it.
didn't. I know it's already very saturated, and so new platforms are coming up with new social medias, and people who are well versed in a certain platform will move there because it's a new way to get the audience
Yes.
before everybody else does.
Yes.
So
Yes.
I don't know,
But
but
you reserved it.
we reserved
So
it, and
maybe I
that's
need to
that's
be
the point.
reserving my name on everything. It's probably too late. Okay. Okay. So you did all that, which was
Yes.
awesome.
Yeah. So, we had Square for, a number of years, and then we just outgrew it. Is really what it came down to. So we used the Square website, and the Square platform, because we were already using the Square terminal during our live events, and so we thought that's the natural progression of things. And we were really focusing on driving people to our website and not to our Etsy shop. Let Etsy algorithm do its thing and driving people to you. When you are talking about your business, you direct them to your website. So we were doing that at live events and all of the things. And um, we were using their email platforms. We switched from Aweber to Square Marketing. Um, and that was helpful for a time. And it just got to the point where we outgrew it. And there were some features that I really wanted to take things to the next level that Square didn't really support at the plan that we were on. And so just a couple of months ago, we switched from Square to Shopify.
I
And
love Shopify. I'm a
I
Shopify
do too.
fan.
I do too. And in full transparency, I wish we would have gone with Shopify first instead of Square. You can still have the Square little terminal thing to process credit cards, um, but Shopify has that as well. And I feel like Square is more for the brick and mortar who want to have an online
Mm.
presence and not
Oh,
for the e-commerce business who
okay.
also does live events.
Good to know. Okay.
Um,
Yep.
Shopify is more for the e-commerce business who also does live events. So it's more tailored to that market. So being the fact that we are mostly online with the occasional in-person sale, Shopify has been fabulous. There is a high learning curve with it. There's a lot of code and stuff, but the support on Shopify has really been amazing. So even if you're not well versed in software code and stuff like that, there's templates and all kinds of
Yeah.
free resources to use the platform. So it's been
Yeah.
awesome.
I loved it too. I used them for my online gift boutiques for years and
Hmm.
years. So I'm a big fan. And we did even monogramming and personalization. It worked so well for all those, they call them custom options that
Yeah.
people can do to configure things for your products. So Shopify is great for product sellers. So maybe even out of the gate, everyone should consider that. Just jump right into that and just,
Yeah.
bite the bullet and start taking that on because the support is really good. Okay. So
Mhm.
y'all started migrating to Shopify.
Yeah, and I think it's really important to know wherever you're at in your business, we gained this clarity, this realization because we took action. So you don't need to have all of these aha moments before you take action. And it's in
I
the
love that.
process of doing that you're gonna find out what's working and what's not working. You're gonna, figure out your messaging and your product photos and all of that because you took action and just put something out there, put something on paper, and then you can fine tune.
Right.
Getting ready to get ready to get ready it's gonna overwhelm you. It
Yeah.
just is. But being proactive, just doing something every day, and putting yourself out there, then you can fine tune and figure out what's working, what's not by evaluating your results as we always talk about.
Yeah. Yeah. I
So,
love that. So y'all started on Etsy. You
mhm.
also have your website on your own domain. You do local vendor shows. You travel to other locations to do shows at other parks, or what are y'all doing right now to get exposure for your business?
Yeah. So, all of the above. We have our
Okay.
our website. Whenever we are at theme parks, which is quite often because that's where our people are. One,
Okay. Yep.
two, we are always at the parks to confirm our images are still there. And so whenever we're at the parks, we're wearing something with our logo on it. Like I know listeners can't see me right now, but I'm wearing my sweatshirt that has our logo. It is massive on our sweatshirts. We have hats that have our logos, and when all three of us on the Wear in the Park team, when we are all wearing this same sweatshirt, I cannot tell you the number of people we walk by who are looking at our sweatshirts. And we've gotten sales. And I always ask, like, how'd you hear about us? And people have said, I just saw you in the parks with your sweatshirts.
What? So, like, you
And
didn't even talk to him and they
no,
just,
yep. It's just it
what?
is
See? Oh, that's
massive in their
amazing.
face. Yeah, and so because they're like, "Wait a minute, we're in the park," and it says, "We're in the park, games to play at theme parks," and it has at We're in the Park to find us on all the socials and we'reinthepark.com. So it is right there. They have 3 points to check us out because all 3 of us are wearing something logoed.
Right.
Um, and yeah, we've gotten
Wow.
orders just by walk. We didn't have to say a word because our website has everything that they need to know, and we are directing them. And even so, like when we were at the parks last weekend, people will be like, "Oh, where's the park? We're in the park," because they've seen us either before or they've heard about us from
Oh
somewhere.
my gosh. You're a celebrity. You're totally,
We're
your
turning
people are a
into a
fan club.
celebrity. It's nuts. It's crazy.
I
Um,
love it. Well, I mean, it's
but,
just smart because I think you're where your buyers are. Why not wear
mhm,
it? I mean, everyone should have something on. Like if you're doing a show or something, you need to be advertising your business. But I think in your situation, it's perfect. So
yeah.
you're at the parks, people see
Mhm.
you. You're checking out the parks, people see you there. Where are you doing vendor shows and stuff?
Yeah. So wherever there is an event that is Disney focused,
Okay.
so the ones that we are at every single year, um, is the Disneyana Fan Club or the DFC Expo. That
Mm,
happens twice a year, and that is local here to Southern California, in the Orange County area. This time it's in Irvine. That's on June 1st. So if you're in the Irvine, California area,
mm,
June 1st, come
yes.
on down.
And what's it
Um,
called again? So my listeners know.
it's the DFC Expo. If you just go to at We're in the Park, you'll have all the details right
Okay.
there.
Okay. And they could
Um,
come by your booth and see. So it's a Disney expo that has booths that are anything related to Disney.
yeah, so
Like what kind of
there's
stuff? Like,
there's all kinds of things. There are people who are reselling things that were at the park, so like Disney popcorn buckets and pins and all of that. There's a lot of pin trading. There are people who are small business owners like we are, and they are selling their things. Our good friends Dave and Janie Lee. They have slides, like Kodak slides that they've taken pictures around the parks and they backlight. They have a little like
Oh,
light
that's
in the back.
cool.
And
Yes.
so it's highlighting those details of the parks
Yes.
too.
Yes.
There's lounge flybags. There's literally everything under the sun, collector's items. And it's so much fun. And it happens twice a year, once in the spring, once in the fall. So
Okay.
we're always at that. Mouse Con is another one. And that is in Concord, California in November. And then in Bakersfield in January. And so those two events, or I guess four events throughout the year, those are the ones that we are constantly at. So people know it'll be like our third or fourth year, so 6 or 7 times that we have been at this event. And so by doing that, by finding an event that really works for you and your audience, and then consistently showing up there, I cannot tell you the number of times people have bypassed other booths because they want to get to our booth first. And they're
I
like,
love that so
"Yes, you're
much.
back." And
Yes.
chances are, because you've been there before, if you find the spot that works for you, you'll be at that same spot. And so that is really important because your ideal customers will know exactly where to find you in the room, right? So if you happen to be at a different location, that's totally fine. They'll find you eventually by working the room. But if you are at the exact same spot that you were last time, they already know where to go.
I love it.
And so to have that next item in the sales funnel ready to roll and be like, "Oh, awesome. So glad to see you. How are you doing?" And connect with them before the rest of the room gets there, and they're eagerly excited about your product. They're bringing their friends. It's
Yes.
amazing. It's
It's
amazing.
amazing. I love it. And just watching you over the years, I know to just to point out to all my listeners that you can try shows that may not be your target market. So I wondered
Mhm.
if you would just expand on that a little bit because I know you've done a lot of shows and we've all done
Yeah.
shows. I did them with my product businesses and some I was like, I will never be back to have a booth at this show because I didn't get the right kind of clientele for what I was selling. So I was wondering if you could talk about that so that people can not be discouraged if they head to a show that doesn't work, but also start putting themselves out there so they can find the right shows. So, anyways, I wondered if
Yeah.
you could touch on that.
Absolutely. So in 2023, especially, we spent a lot of time at more local arts and crafts fairs.
So, not
And
Disney related, not
uh,
theme park related, just random, different craft
yeah,
fairs. Okay.
yeah. And the idea at the beginning of the year was, let's just cast a wide net. Anything that's, local in the Southern California area, particularly closer to Disney, let's go there and see what happens. So a lot of those events, we either did not make our booth fee back or just
Mm.
barely made our booth fee back and certainly didn't pay for any gas or hotel or meals. So very, very, very low sales at these events. And at first, it was gut-wrenching because you're like, "Oh, I put so much work into this." We made all the inventory, but at the same time, each event is a learning opportunity, and if you
Mhm.
go in with that, you're like, "You know what? If I make a sale, fantastic." Right? That is the ideal, like, yes, that is why I'm here, but also you are there to make connections with people, and if one person liked you on Instagram, if one person joined your email list, that is a win, right? Did you make your booth feedback? Maybe not. But did you still connect with somebody? Did you connect with other vendors? Did you make a connection in some other way? Like I know for some of the events, we didn't even make a sale, but we still connected with other vendors, and we've seen those vendors in at other events, and we're like, "Hey, I remember you," and it creates a bond. And now we are partnering with them because our niches are similar, that we can cross promote each other, even though we're not at those events, but we met at those events.
Mm.
Building the connections with the other vendors that are there. If it's a particularly slow event, go walk around. go talk with the other vendors and say like, hey, have you been at this event before? Is it typically this slow? What are the other dates and times that this event happens? Is it typically busier in December? You know, if
Mhm.
you find somebody that is a similar niche to yours, talk to them, find
Mhm.
out more information. What other events do they go to, right? That maybe you haven't found on your radar,
Mhm.
and just get to know people, but don't be discouraged by the dollar amount you brought in, right?
Okay. So all is
Uh,
not lost if you
all
don't
is not
make
lost.
all is not lost. So just keep going. But the key is to narrow it down to the ones that
Mhm.
do bring you the most money. So that's what y'all did.
Yes.
So then you started trying to do what? Try to get to Disney related shows?
Yeah. So we definitely learned our lesson in 2023
Okay.
of the money that we spent on vendor shows that did not work out for us was quite high. But we told ourselves, okay, that's just not the one for us, and that's okay.
Right.
Right? We gave it
Right.
a good shot.
Yeah.
We still made connections, we still got followers and all of the things, but it just didn't turn out to sales, and that was really our end goal. So we're not going to
Okay.
come back to this one, and that's totally fine. Um, so we shifted to, okay, what are the ones that did work? And for us, that was the DFC Expo, that was the mouse cons. And so we're like, well, yeah, that makes sense. These are people who are looking for Disney things.
Yes.
So that makes sense for us to be in those areas, in those rooms. And so now, um, those are pretty much the main ones that we go to, are those two events that I mentioned that happen twice a year, and then any other ones are to support, either, some friends of ours or a cause. So, we will be in the San Diego area in September for, Bunny Fest for the San Diego House Rabbit Society. We support them every year, and so we are a vendor at that event. Um, do we make our money back? Is it a Disney specific, event? No, but we also have San Diego games. So, at that event, we do bring our Disney games, but we are promoting the local games
Yes. I love
during those
that.
shows. So
Yes.
it's being able to pivot, and with each person that comes up to your booth, yes, you have, the sales pitch. They are self-paced, so you can find
Mhm.
games that you play at theme parks that highlight the details and the theming of the park. Um, but it is their response, and it is the repetition and getting the experience and being confident in what it is that you're saying, and that's only gonna come with time. And so, if nothing else, you are practicing and building that muscle. Uh,
Mhm.
what what are some of the wordings, the messaging that I can say to eventually get to my right people,
Right.
right? And so you can say something to somebody and it just didn't feel right. That
Right.
didn't really resonate with me.
Right.
I'm the one saying it.
Yeah, right. Right. Didn't feel right.
Yeah, and so you're like, "Okay, how can I tweak that? Okay, I'm
Mhm.
gonna try this with the next person." And
Yeah.
even better if it's not your ideal niche, because
Right.
then see what's landing, what's not landing, and
Right.
fine tune it in yourself,
Yeah.
before that right person comes up, and then it's gonna be like, "Yes, let's go."
Yes, you're gonna get it. Yeah, I love
Yeah.
that you're talking about this, and you and I and the people in my programs and Grow Getters and stuff, we talk about this as messaging. So if y'all hadn't heard that term before, it's just all the wording that you use to communicate your brand or about what you do or the value of your offer, right? And we have to get our messaging honed in so that when we talk to people, we feel confident, like you said, like it resonates with us, like we feel good saying it. We don't feel like a weirdo. And then also it actually works to perk people up because you can see it when you say something that's effective, you will see their face go, "Oh yeah, I was thinking about doing that," or "My wife was doing that," or "My friend," or "We're going to Disney this summer," or whatever. And you can see them light up. And that's what you want. And obviously you want it to turn into some type of lead or sale, hopefully, right? But working on all your wording is so key to your business. And if you hadn't thought about that before, I hope this is an aha moment for you because you realize that when you actually have the right words, you can confidently show up and people will start following you and hopefully buying. So when you were talking about this, it was just reminding me that when you first came into Grow Getters and stuff, that you were talking about your business in a different way and what you offer. And I would love it if you would share it to people and how your messaging has evolved, because this is key for everyone here, that your messaging can and should. It should evolve because it's got to alert the right people what you do. So Amanda, will you share with us about your messaging journey, I guess we could say?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So when we first started out, we referred to our games as scavenger hunts. I think seek and find was always part of the lingo, but scavenger hunts. And we're like,
Scavenger
yeah,
hunt, yes. I
we're,
always thought they were scavenger hunt. I think I said
yeah,
theme park scavenger hunts was how I would
right.
introduce you.
Yeah. And then we got the feedback of, oh, okay, so it's for kids.
Mm,
Or, oh, okay, so you hide something. And we're like, no, 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 no. And we had to backtrack of like, well, no, we don't hide anything in the parks. And no, it's not just for kids. It's for everybody, and then it was more explaining. And that's one of the things that's really hard about, our business, but I know a lot of listeners out there, but you have to educate people first.
yes.
So we're like, okay, scavenger hunt can have a negative connotation with people that
Mm,
it's find a fountain, find a leak, find a cast member or a theme park employee who has your same name. Something, find a princess, something quote unquote easier that that is not what we do, right?
mm.
It
Okay.
was cool, but that's
Right.
not what we do. We
Right.
are an elevated game that is an experience that will allow you to have a better appreciation for the parks when you're done with it.
I love
And
it.
and so we sat with it, and if you go back to, like, our original wording of, on our Etsy page and our Square page, it was scavenger hunt, scavenger hunt, scavenger hunt, and it was a huge shift of saying, "It's not just a scavenger hunt. It's not a scavenger hunt. It's not a scavenger," and we had to say it to each other all the time. We've also changed the names of our games in general. So we had them as fun packs. Our smaller games, our eight card games were fun packs because we were thinking like candy, like the fun size,
Yes.
just
Yes.
a little.
Yeah. Right.
And we had challenge packs, which was the bigger games. And so they're like, okay, so the fun ones are the easier ones then. And we're like, well, no, not necessarily. It's easiness is subjective. How well do you already know the park? And so we're like, okay, so maybe we shouldn't call them fun size then, or fun pack and challenge pack. So now we're just mini games and where in the park games. So there's
Mhm.
no um conception of easiness or difficulty level because it's all personal. How well do you already know the park? Have you had an eye for detail already in looking at details? So we don't put a challenge level on there anymore, or have the verbiage that
Mhm.
conveys a difficulty level. But the biggest change has been switching from scavenger hunt to seek and find games.
Okay.
A and that's really been the biggest change, and so when we say that these are self-paced seek and find experiences, then the light bulb goes off, and okay, this is
Yes.
something
Yes.
different.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
it's self-paced. I'm doing this on my own time. Yes,
Mhm.
seek and this is something different. You're like, okay, seek and it's more clear
Yeah.
exactly what it really is. And I like how you said, like, if it was a scavenger hunt, that's cool, but that's not what we're selling. So everyone has to think about. I mean, all of you listening, you have to think about what you're selling. You have to explain it very clearly what it actually is, so people know. And you found that out by feedback that people were giving and by
Yeah.
your own, like, check going, "Wait, but that's not what this is. Why am I saying scavenger hunt? This isn't what it is."
Yeah.
So y'all have evolved that. So how has it helped you and your business by knowing all of these words and by knowing your messaging?
Oh, it has been huge. I mean, talk about showing up consistently. When you have the right words, you convey the message consistently in everything that you do. So when you're talking about it with somebody, when you are showing up on a podcast, when you are working on your Facebook ads or anything else down the line, you are using those same words and you put those keywords in your SEO, in your descriptions of everything, um, because you want it to have the same tone, and you don't want there to be any confusion. You're still gonna have the people that come up like, "Oh, you're the scavenger hunt people," and you're like,
Yeah, and you've got to shift that. Like, that takes a
"Yeah,
while because
it does."
they've got that in their brain, and so it behooves everyone to be doing this in the beginning, which is why obviously I teach this, like in Grow Getters, because I think it's so important in the beginning of your business because you could have ingrained in people's heads that you're doing XYZ and you're not. You're really doing ABC, and we've got to take all this time. So, anyways, some people are still bringing that up, scavenger hunt, and you're trying to shift the narrative.
Yeah. But it creates a learning opportunity, right? So, by the end of an event, you've heard it like 15 billion times of like, "Oh, yeah, they're like scavenger hunts." And then so you'll learn, like I was mentioning, like with each interaction, you will have the confidence and the verbiage to say whatever you need to say next to get them on board with what it is that you do. And so we will gently nudge them of like, yeah, these are seek and find games. Like, so think of it like a Where's Waldo book. Depending on the age group, they might not know what that means.
Right.
But, if they are, if they're like, oh yeah, I know about Where's Waldo books. Like, okay, so the book is like the theme park and you are looking for one detail, you're Waldo. And they're like, "Oh, yeah, okay." And then get it. Like, this is gonna be
Yes.
harder than just some find a leaf,
Right,
find a
right,
fashion.
right, right.
So, but yeah, you'll get those keywords down and then just repeat it as often as you can. Put it everywhere. So
I
yeah,
love
it
that.
takes
Yeah.
time.
Yeah, I love these messages that you have that like taking action will help you, learn and craft your message and your business and everything. You've got to be taking action to get clarity because I think sometimes people want to get ready, like you said, get ready to get ready to get ready, and
Yeah.
you never end up going anywhere. Right. And so I love that. I love that you say, consistently show up. You've got to be showing up at the same base. People are looking for you. You're actually building a fan base. This is how you're building an audience. And then just working on that messaging so that it's clear so that when you are showing up consistently, you're saying consistent words that are drilled in people's head and they understand what your brand is and what your business is about. And I think all these things have been your key to success over the years. Is that right? I mean, what else to you has been the key to being successful with this business?
I think one of them is I go back to connection and reaching out to our customers as often as I can, having those
Mm,
touch points. So when they first place an order, I email them back out and say, so I have the automation email saying like, thank you so much for your order, but I personally email them and say, hey, thank you so much for your order. I would love to know, like while we're getting everything together, I would love to know how you heard about us and when your next trip to the Disneyland resort will
mhm,
be.
mhm.
Looking forward to hearing from you, Amanda. And so they will oftentimes respond because it's a personalized message. It's not just an automated message.
Right, right.
I'm
It's
connecting it with them. If they used a specific coupon code, I can tell where they came from, so I can personalize it
mhm.
that way. Um, and I have that touch point there. I include a handwritten card with every single order.
You go, girl.
Yeah, saying, looking forward to hearing about, we hope you have an amazing time. Looking for the details hidden within Disneyland Park. We can't wait to hear about your experience. Tag us on social, right? So I'm inviting them to be part of our community. That's also part of the automation when
Mhm.
when we send the tracking information, it says while you're waiting for your package, if you haven't already, come join us on Instagram and Facebook at We're in the Park. So we're inviting them to that as well. And then afterward, so I put in my Trello board, love Trello, but I have a card for each person, and I put in the details that they share with me. So I'll put in the date of their order and what they ordered. If they express, "Hey, we're going to Disney, we're going to Disneyland at the end of the month." Okay, great. I'm going to write that down and also calendar it for a couple weeks after that. And then I'll reach out to them and say, "Hey, I hope you had an amazing time at the Disneyland Resort. I would love to know if you had a chance to play our games while you were there. If so, here's how you can share about your experience." And I
Mhm.
have everything linked with the review, like where they can go and leave a review. We also have a part in our game packs themselves where they can have do our survey right there. So I link that. So there's a number of touch points um, throughout the journey. Um, if they say, "Hey, we're going on such and such date," and we also happen to be there, I make it a point to say, "Let's meet up. We're going to be at the
Yeah.
same place. Let's meet
Yes.
up. We would love to see you in person." And make
Yeah.
it a conscious effort to see them where they are, especially if they're
Mhm.
playing your games.
Yeah.
They're actually interacting with your products. Um, so I have multiple touch points through that, and it is because we're building that relationship that they're like, "Okay, this isn't just another company. This is somebody
Yeah.
who cares about my experience."
Mhm.
I always throw in something if they're like, "Oh, we're going for such and such or so and so's birthday." Great. I'm gonna include a birthday card. I'm gonna
Right.
include something personal and then say like, for so and so's birthday, how did they enjoy their experience or
Mhm.
whatever. And so any point that I think it's Amy Porterfield that says, surprise and delight your audience.
Mhm.
Any way that you can
Mhm.
surprise and delight your audience, do it.
Yeah.
It
I
doesn't
love it.
cost very much and it's everything to them.
Yeah,
So
it is. It is. And I love hearing you say all this because as you're sitting here talking, I'm thinking, this is what is magical about small businesses is that we have this opportunity, we have the time, we have the hunger, we want to provide a good experience. We're trying to build a successful business, and we can add special touches that consumers cannot get with larger organizations. Let's just take, for example, Amazon, right? Can they write you a handwritten note? No, because it's all automated, it's getting shipped to you. So use your magic. Everyone has this magic available to them, the surprise and delight factor, or just the I just love it. Just the care and touch points that you can have as a small business owner right now, especially if you're new at this stage of business, to handhold, to make people feel really good about their purchase and to refer you because that's what you want to. You want repeat customers and you want referrals. And as you were talking, I just was thinking this is the magic of a new small business. And I don't even know that I wouldn't consider you new anymore necessarily, even though it's been what, 3 years, 2 years, well, no, 4 years, 4 years. So maybe you're not new, but it's just the magic of a small business that you have time. Your business has evolved and shifted. And now I think you feel that like confidence. I can see it in you over these years, that confidence that you have built from everything from shifting your product to working on your messaging to showing up in the right places and constantly evaluating it. You're like a star student. Like you're a star student. You came out of the gate just like going, this is going to work. We have something special. We know it. You were never braggy, never arrogant. I'm not talking about that. I'm just talking about the knowing that a lot of us have as small business owners, that we have something special to offer the world. We know there are people out there that would love this. And the puzzle is, how do we get in front of them? What do we say? Where do we show up? How do we keep these people coming back? And you have done all of that. I've watched you through the years, just getting started program, and then with, Grow Getters, and then being a part of my podcasting program, which I'm so excited you're part of Passion to Podcast. And that's some fun news that we get to announce is that you're actually launching a podcast soon as a way of reaching more people. So tell us about your podcast that's launching in just a few weeks at the time of this recording.
and we're so excited. This has been a long time coming. It's been on the back burner, stewing away on low heat for for a long time, and now we are officially ready. And I honestly think if we had started when we first had the idea, so much would have changed because we've changed our messaging, we've changed our direction. And like thinking back to where we were a couple years ago, nothing would make sense today.
Interesting. Yeah, it just
Is that
shows you got to
crazy?
do the work early so that you can then expand and do all these things. I think it's so crucial in the beginning of a business.
Yeah. And so now we're at the point where we have our foundation down, and now it's how can we show up for our audience in new ways. And so the podcast is really going to be a game changer for us. I have no doubts about that because like we talk about all the time, like the life of a podcast is forever. And so we are going to focus on the history behind the details. So it's going to be evergreen. And each episode is going to be about a different theme park. So we'll have where in the Disney park, where in the Knott's Berry Farm park, like all of these different things.
So exciting.
And yeah, so we are working on um finding different things throughout the park, the details that we don't have in our game packs, but finding out why that's there, who put it there, what is the history and significance of that specific detail. And so we'll highlight 2 to 3 details each episode, and then we'll have the pictures and imagery over on our Facebook group that we're creating for the podcast called Where in the Park Explorers. So you can be an explorer with us and provide your own pictures and insight if you have anything, because we are a collective unit when it comes to history and theme parks. And there's so much out there, but a lot of times there's not information about the who and the why. That we have the what, but we don't have the who, the why,
Yeah,
and
I
the how.
love that. I love that. That's really cool.
Yeah. And so to have that community of people who are just as passionate about it as you are, but can also add to the experience with their own pictures and stories. And, oh, my dad worked on this. Like those are the things that you're not going to get, when you're at a live event, when you're behind the screen of your website. So connecting with new people in a new way, I am so excited about it. And yes, we are going to be launching very, very soon. We have a couple of episodes recorded, and we're just fine tuning some things, and then they'll be ready for launch.
And the name of the podcast is?
Where in the Park podcast.
Perfect. I just want to make sure everyone knew that and see the consistency, everyone. The
Mhm.
consistency, the website domain, the podcast, everything. And then the Where in the Park Explorers for the Facebook group. All her links are below, by the way, for everyone listening. And her podcast will be launching soon. So I'll update the link to that as soon as it's live. But you'll be able to listen to it here very, very soon. And we're super stoked about that. She's been working on it and all the episodes. And that has been so fun to watch. And I am cracking up because you're saying, this has been stewing for a while on a low heat. I just pictured food on a stove and you're like, it's been sitting there for 2 years. It's still there. It's going. And you're like, no, we're doing it now. And so it's been really cool to see all the action that you've been taking recently to be able to get this thing finally going. And yours is a little different because you are going to have 2 co-hosts, right? Your husband, Kevin, your mom, Kim, who is an integral part of your business, which by the way, as a side note, I think this is the coolest thing ever that you and your husband are doing this and that your mom is so involved. I don't know. I'm touched every time you talk about it. And when I see the pictures online on your Instagram and all that, I'm like, this relationship that you have with your mom is the cutest thing ever. And I just love it. And I think it's so cool that you can run a business and you have this sweet and wonderful mother who is a part of it and cheering you on all the way and supporting you. I mean, I've heard you say she wraps packages, she's shipping stuff for you. I'm like, it gets Mom of the Year. Mother's Day's coming up. So she needs an amazing, amazing gift for her time. I'm sure you do. You already thank her all the time. I know. So
Oh,
anyways,
yes.
she seems amazing. And your husband, Kevin, is just awesome. And I love that he's a history buff about all of this. And it's just been so cool to get to know you. And I've even got to talk to him a few times. And it's just been awesome seeing your growth. So anyway, so your podcast is coming. Where in the Park? It's going to be launching soon. And what I plan on doing, and I told you this, I'm going to tell everyone publicly, is that I want to have you on again here in some months after your podcast is up and rolling. And I want you to share about how the podcast shifts your business, what happens, how this affects your business, because I think this is interesting for people that are considering starting a podcast. Is there any advice right now that you have for anyone just before you launch? Just any thoughts for anyone out there that's got either a product business or service business, whatever it is, they're thinking about starting a podcast. Is there anything that you want to share about that? Any advice, any lessons learned, anything you want to share
Yeah.
about?
Oh, so when it comes to the podcast in particular, um, we wanted to do a podcast because if you look at our podcast player, uh, for me it's all like business stuff and some theme parks, but for my husband it's like all theme park related stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So the idea of having a podcast, my brain instantly went into imposter syndrome
Mm,
of who do I think I am? Like, I can't be the level of so and so who's been doing this for years, who's also a history buff, who is like
mm,
spends hours and hours and hours on one topic.
mhm,
Like, I
mhm,
can't do that, and so I instantly shut myself down of I don't have time to research all this. Like, I'm not them. There's no way. And it did take a while to go. That's great. That's great that you're not them because you're providing something different.
yeah,
And we
I
we
love
don't
that.
want to be pigeonholed into one certain thing. You do you, right? What is it that you can provide to your people? Because that podcast that I'm thinking of, they're not selling a product.
Mm,
They don't have a small business. They
mm,
are just sharing knowledge.
mm,
We are trying to be in front of our audience and provide value and also invite them in to to be part of our community.
mhm,
And there is a difference there. But so isolating those factors and going, it's okay that I'm not them. Thank goodness I'm not them, right? That takes a huge weight off your shoulders right there of I can do this in the way that feels comfortable to me, however
mhm,
that looks like. They have hours and hours and hours that they're focusing on one topic. I'm going to spend 5 minutes on a
mhm,
topic.
mhm.
Let's go. Right.
Right,
Here's what you need to know. This is why it's
right.
important. This is why we're focusing on it, and we're moving on to the next one. And so it's going to be two totally different things. So why am I comparing myself to them? So it takes a lot of self realization to go. "Oh, okay, I'm I'm okay. I
Mhm.
can do
Yeah,
this."
I can do it.
And that you don't have to have everything perfect is
Yeah,
also really, really important. You don't need to have all the things. You don't need to have the best microphone. You don't need to have the best headphones. I don't even have headphones right now because it doesn't work with the mic jack that's going on with my mic. That's okay. That doesn't mean you can't
yeah,
record.
we just gotta get it going. Yeah, we knew we
Exactly.
had to do this, we're not worried about it. Right, I love that. I think that's such good sentiment for everyone listening is that you just have to get moving. You will gain the confidence and everything won't be perfect. I talk about imperfect action. If y'all been listening for a while, that's like a huge thing. And it's so true because we want to perfect everything. We want to know that we're the best one. We have imposter syndrome. Their podcast is way better. We can all say that about our businesses, about our products, about the way we look, anything we want to say, we can always do that. But what we have to realize is that we actually have our own lane and to own that lane and focus on that, on what you can do and what you're good at. And I think that's what's neat about what y'all are doing is that Kevin, you've told me he's a history buff on this, and you are too. I mean, it sounds like you know a lot, but he knows a lot more. Is that what you
He
told
knows a
me?
lot
That
more. He could
he
be
knows
his
a
own
lot
tour
more.
guide. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, he could be the tour guide, but you're obsessed with it too. And y'all met there, and it's just the coolest story ever. I love it so much. And it's just so neat to see how much you've grown. And I can't even wait to see how this podcast goes and how much joy it's going to bring you because I know how much this podcast has joy that it's brought me and just fulfillment and the people that it's reached. I would have never met you if I had never done this podcast or any of the grow getters or any of the clients that I've had that I adore. I mean, there's no like bad apple. There's just always these joyful human beings that are just trying to live their passion. And it's just so, so wonderful. So that's why I had to have you on the show, because I'm like, I have to share you with everybody, and that you will share an honest, take on what this business has been. It hasn't been all sunshines and rainbows, has it? I mean, no,
No.
no, we've made
No.
mistakes. We've had hard times, right? I mean, it
Yeah.
hasn't been perfect. It's been hard, but you've done it and you focused on it, and now you're starting this new venture with your business. You've got all your wording down. It's like all your ducks are in a row. Like everything now feels clear, and I think that's why you feel confident starting the podcast, because I think you're so much more clear about what you're offering. Would you agree with
Oh,
that?
yeah.
Yeah.
100%. Yeah, like I said, if we had started it a couple years ago when we first had the idea, like, talk about, your first episodes are usually those cringe moments of like, "Oh my
Yes.
gosh, what
Yeah.
were we doing?"
Yeah.
If we went back 2 years ago and listened to original episodes, we would be like, "Oh, everything has changed. The
Changed.
name of our
Yeah.
products, how we talk about it, we were
Yes.
still calling ourselves scavenger hunts back then." Like, there's so many different things that have changed that now we are clear. Like I said, now we're clear with our messaging and
Yeah. You're clear and you
our
feel
products,
confident.
and,
Hmm.
so now we're ready to take it to the next level, but it's not about providing a podcast that just goes gangbusters and goes viral. I mean, same thing with social media. You don't post a piece of content with like, "Oh, if it doesn't go viral, then I've failed." There might be some of like, I want it to do well, but you want it to have connection. You want it
Yes.
to do something, entertain or educate or inform in some way. And that's the point with the podcast too. It's about building connection and reestablishing the authority,
Hmm.
our authority in the theme park space, and building that connection about theme parks and having that community. So if it leads to sales, fantastic. If it goes viral, fantastic. But it's really about just increasing the awareness that we exist and getting our name out there. That
Yeah.
is that is the sole purpose of that, and if
Yes. Yes.
have that goal in mind, it will happen.
Yeah.
Just having a podcast out there, you are going to extend your reach,
Yes.
um,
Yes.
and so that's ultimately what it comes down to, and if it happens to do well and lead to sales, then fantastic.
Right.
All the
Right.
better. So,
Yeah. No, I agree. I think that's amazing. And it's such a good attitude. And, we say we want to take action and go. Like, y'all could have taken action and gone, but I think you knew in your heart, like, just something was feeling heavy. And it wasn't just that you were, maybe a little scared or whatever. It was just like something didn't feel right. And I think y'all knew you didn't know what it was exactly, but by working through everything, I've just watched you gain that confidence and clarity on all the words you're saying and the words you're using on your packaging and what you're calling this and how you're showing up. And I just love it. It's so awesome to see. And I'm so thankful that me having the courage to show up then gave you the courage to show up. And now you're going to be blessing all these people out in the world. And I just think it's so awesome. So everyone has to realize that today, that the onus is on you, but do the work. Do the work in the beginning like Amanda did, so that she can get to this point where she feels good showing up. No, she doesn't have it all figured out. No, she doesn't even know everything that they're going to be doing or what she's saying, but she feels much more confident. If something feels heavy, you don't know what to say, you don't feel confident, please don't hesitate to reach out, because that's what I'm here for. Amanda is a perfect example. She is like all in, but was doing it, in a way where she feels like she could make a difference in this world. And I think it's just so wonderful. So I'm so proud of you, Amanda. I'm so happy to get to know you and just watch your progress, and happy for Kevin and your mom, Kim. I just think the whole thing is just amazing.
thank you so much.
You're welcome. And I'm so glad you've been here. And we're going to have you on in a few months when you're feeling ready for that. And we're going to circle back, because we got to update everybody. Got to hear how this podcast goes and how this shifts your business.
Absolutely. I'm
So,
excited. I can't wait to officially launch and
yes,
start putting out quality content. It's gonna be
I
awesome.
know. It's going to be amazing. So, well, that is it, I guess, unless there's anything else you want to share. And then until next time, and I can't wait to hear this podcast. I'm excited. I'm going to be ready on my Apple Podcasts app, be ready to listen to it.
Thank you. I can't wait to. I'll definitely be making a huge announcement. Talk about shouting from the
Yes.
rooftops.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
people could follow you. They could follow you on Instagram. right now. They can get in your Facebook group. They can get on your email list, because then if they got on your email list, you're going to notify them via email and they'll know right when you launch. Is that right?
Yeah. Yeah. So you can go to, actually, our Facebook group is also live. We're in the
Okay.
Park Explorers.
Okay.
So you can go check that out over on Facebook. And shocker, just answer 3 quick questions, and and we
Mm-hmm.
will get you in.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and yeah, so it's everything that you've taught us since day one.
Oh,
Um, but but yeah, you'll be notified there. We actually did a little teaser of like, "Hey guys, we're recording."
yeah, I know. Like, this
So
is actually happening. We've turned up the heat a little bit
yes,
on that simmering stove.
exactly. I know that podcast group has been up for a few years now, but we're going for it, and it's happening, and it's going to be amazing.
Yeah.
But yeah, at We're in the Park is where you can find us on all the platforms, and then our website we'reinthepark.com. You can scroll down and go to our newsletter. You can put in your email to be on our email list. And we also have some bonus goodies when you sign up. So
Terrific. That's awesome. Well, I'm so excited for you, Amanda. And we will be in touch very soon. Thank you so much for being here. Okay.
thanks for having me.
Bye.
Now, this episode may be over, but our relationship does not have to end here. Head on over to KimberlyBrock.com, and yes, you can get more valuable information for your journey. And you know what? You don't need to go through this alone. I would love to help you. Thank you so much, and have a great day. Bye.